Welcome back to Multiversal Studios. This is the breakdown of episode 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh Capsule Monsters. So if you haven't already, go check out the breakdown of episode 1 and 2. They will be linked in the description below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. So far in the story, I really like the direction of where this is headed. Each of the typical side characters like Tristan and Taya are both receiving a share of the limelight, which is actually one of my favorite things from the virtual world arc, where again the side characters played a crucial role and didn't just rely on cheerleading. Now it's not only Tristan and Taya, but now we are also seeing Grandpa Moto in action, which is a completely different dynamic to what we're used to, since up until now, we've only heard stories or flashbacks of his adventures, so it's really nice to see him being an addition to the group. Now, due to the Summon Skull lightning attack on the sea monster, this actually ended up reuniting Tristan and Taya and Grandpa and Yugi, as the giant lightning strike could be seen for miles. Joey also rejoins the party later on as he finds him on the back of Baby Dragon. Now, during the nighttime as they are discussing their plan on how to escape the game, Solomon Moto is unusually quiet, which I wasn't a fan of. I was hoping he would take charge, as he had technically had the most experience with dealing with ancient games. Also, I really wanted him to share what he had learnt whilst he was there, as he was there for so long before Yugi had entered. Now they decide to head to the house, which was displayed in the map that Joey had found. However, that's the exact moment they realize that they were surrounded by a pack of flower wolves, which is actually a fusion monster made up of Silverfang and Dark World thorns. Now, due to the sheer number of wolves, the party was overwhelmed. Now, what really annoyed me was Yugi now had two capsule monsters, the Hinatama Soul and the Celtic Guardian. Now, I'm not too sure how many capsule monsters you can summon at the same time, but I genuinely feel like he relies on Celtic Guardian way too much. In the ongoing battle, they on multiple occasions pick up a piece of wood with fire on it and try to ward off the monsters, when Atem literally has a living fire monster which could pretty easily take care of those monsters. I can only assume, due to them being in the forest and having flowers on them, that they're a wood type, which are naturally weak to fire types. Now, in this combat, we also discover that Grandpa's Summon Skull had turned a silver color, which means it takes a longer time to recharge, as Summon Skull is a level 6 monster. Grandpa also seemed not to have any other monsters in his tool belt, which means the first capsule he ever touched was the Summon Skull. Talk about new player luck. Now, when Yugi realizes that they can't beat the army of wolves, they toss Celtic Guardian's sword in the air, and Thunder Kid hits it with lightning, which creates like a solar flare type attack, which blinds the wolves long enough so they can escape. Now, unknown to them, whilst making their escape, the entire forest seemed to be moving, as all this time they were on the back of a giant island turtle, which I won't lie is pretty cool. Honestly, I really like that twist, because based on the cards we're seeing so far, we're getting a nice spread of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which really does make this a lot of fun to watch.
Relax, guys! Island turtles are usually pretty peaceful creatures who won't attack unless they're provoked.
I believe the island turtle is a feature in any video game which is there to push the protagonist onwards towards the main part of the storyline, as the island turtle seems to sink, leaving them stranded right next to a temple, which seems like their next destination in order to progress in the game. Now, once inside the temple, they are trapped with a Lajin, the genie of the lamp. Now, none of their monsters were strong enough to take on the Lajin, apart from Grandpa Summon Skull, but obviously plot will demand that Grandpa Summon Skull is still resting. I bet you anything, as soon as all the hardship is over, I bet the Summon Skull will be ready for action. Now, being the hero Atem always has to be, he asks his friends to leave Lajin to him, since when their monsters take damage, so does a human controlling it, and he wants to, you know, protect them. Classic Yugi.
Leave him to me!
Yugi, are you out of your mind?
Now, in episode 1, Yugi does something similar and tries to stop his friends from coming into the game with him, as he's already put his friends through a lot already. However, when Atem does it, it's just way more cringe for some reason. Now, it wasn't just Lajin, because a new enemy approaches, which is the Neo Aquamador. And guess what Yugi does?
Please go! Leave these two to me!
No way!
I refuse to allow anyone else to get hurt!
Why don't you stop trying to be a hero and let us help you out, Yugi?
Honestly, I'm glad Joey said something, because at what point will Atem let his friends help? It's just getting ridiculous, especially when he's just got a Celtic Guardian and another capsule monster which he refuses to use. Now, what really annoys me in this scene is that I was getting really excited about the side characters playing a part in the story. However, against the Flower Wolves, Grandpa's Summon Skull was out of action, and he was nearly torn apart by the wolves, and Taya was just no help. Like, I know she doesn't have an offensive monster, but she didn't even try to support anyone with her happy lover monster. And in this combat against Aquamador, Taya and Grandpa are both frozen. Why are they doing them so dirty? Now eventually they discover that the Lajin and the Aquamador were too powerful. Now since this is a game, brute strength isn't always the answer. Now it turns out, according to Yugi, Aquamador and Lajin are each other's weaknesses.
Each of these monsters' strength is the other one's weakness.
But are they? According to the chart, water is strong against fire, so even though it's ice, I guess that still counts? And now fire is meant to be strong against ice, but on the chart it shows that it's strong against wood. So should there be another attribute which is ice? Since fire being strong against ice is normally a Pokemon ruling. So at this point, I'm not too sure. This situation doesn't seem to match any of the game rulings. The only logical argument I can think of is that Aquamador is a water monster, so water is strong against Lajin, and Lajin has 1800 attack in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, and Aquamador only has 1200 attack. So even though fire isn't strong against water, but maybe in sheer brute strength, Lajin overpowers the Aquamador, which is how they destroy each other. I feel like if they really wanted this to work, they could have chosen a million other monsters, which was a better pick than Neo Aquamador. Now once Lajin and Aquamador take each other out, they have technically won the challenge in the temple, which revealed an ancient Egyptian text, which Grandpa translated. Before the shadows have blackened the land, go to the fortress of fear, locate the place where the spirits sleep, and the pathways will become clear. Now what they realize is the shadows is actually referring to sunset. So before sunset occurs, they must go to the fortress of fear. Now if you look at the map, there are only two buildings. One of them is the temple where they are right now, and the other is just a house, which we can assume is the fortress of fear. Now as soon as they completed this challenge, I believe the timer starts, because we already saw them spend a night in this world, and I don't think they have unlimited chances, so they have until sunset to make it from the temple to the fortress of fear. Now because this series is only 12 episodes long, I feel like a lot is being crammed into a few episodes. The positives being, each episode is guaranteed to be jam-packed with adventure and excitement, and the negative being, they seem a little rushed on occasion. Guys, that is the end of the breakdown of episode 3, and as usual, I will be posting the next breakdown tomorrow of episode 4, so stay tuned guys. Until next time.